Hi guys, happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna complete the whole Unit 8 today for review. So this is the motivation, emotion, and stress unit. So tonight or today after you watch the video, I'm not gonna have any homework that you're gonna directly have to give back to me, but I am gonna give you this cupcake review sheet. And if we did it in class, after you did it, you got a really good cupcake that I bake. I wish I could do that for you. But it's just a good review. Like it has all the units in it and it's just like fun questions. So I'm going to give you that in Schoology, but you don't have to give it back to me. I'll post the answers though, maybe like on Monday. And that's kind of what I've been doing is I've been doing the FRQ and then I post the answers to the FRQ so you can kind of see the answers to it. I've been waiting on a few of you to like do assignments, so that's why I haven't posted all of them, but they're always in the week folder that the FRQ was assigned. Okay, and then next week, AP exams start. So I know that a few of you are in AP Government, which is on Monday, so good luck. So next week, I'm still going to do review videos, but I'm not going to have you turn anything in to me per se, because I want you to really focus on your other AP exams while still studying for mine, hopefully. So I'm going to do the review videos every day. I'll give you some sort of review sheet if you want to do it, but I'm not going to collect anything next week. I'm going to try to keep videos under 20 minutes. So I really want you to watch my video, especially because they're review topics. And then I'm not going to have anything due though for you next week, just because I want you to focus on your other AP exams, but still spend 15, 20 minutes on my AP Psych prep. Like every day, watch my video, go over the cram packet, or if you're not feeling as good as you feel like you should in like a bio unit, like go over some of those terms, do a Quizlet, watch a crash course video, like all of those things, just 10 to 15 to 20 minutes a day. You can give me a Netflix show and practice AP Psych, okay? All right, so let's get started with Unit 8 review. I always do this. Okay, here we go. All right, so just to keep in mind these basic motivational concepts, instincts, these are these like complex behaviors that have these fixed patterns and they're not learned. So like a spider spins a web, birds fly south in the winter. Those fixed patterns and complex patterns, they really explain more so animal motivation than like human motivation. Babies have instincts to eat and different things like that, but not as complex and not as those fixed patterns as like animals do. Incentives, those really drive a lot of our behaviors, obviously. So those external rewards. So when I gave you Redbubble stickers for the highest grade in the class, that's an incentive for you to study for my AP Psych, right? A gold star on a test, whatever it is, those are external rewards that you're getting, and they're incentives to do better or do things, right? So for me, it was study really hard on my test because you might get a Redbubble sticker, and you still might get one. Then there's intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. We've talked a lot about this. It's been in other units, but keep in mind that intrinsic motivation, that's internal motivation. So for AP Psych, you like love psychology for the sake of like wanting to learn about it, where others might have taken the class because they want the College Board credit or it looks good for colleges. That's extrinsic. So there's an external goal for you, right? Intrinsic is love to learn. You don't care about the grade. Extrinsic is there's this external thing that's motivating you. So, looking better for colleges, whatever it is. Okay, so just make sure you keep that in mind because that's always really important and it's sometimes tricky. Okay, and then there's this over justification effect, and that's the effect where you have this expected external incentive such as like money or prize, and then it starts to decrease intrinsic motivation. So sometimes parents do this. So like a kid naturally might like to read, But a parent is like, oh, I really want them to read more, so I'm going to give them money every book they read. Well, now you've lessened their intrinsic motivation with wanting to read, right? So that's called the over justification effect. Oh, good. And I put a little slide in here for that. So see how I have it like where it's this intrinsic motivation, it's already there. Like I love to read, right? But my mom keeps giving me money to read more books. And so now it's like really not intrinsic anymore. It's like I just want the money, right? Or whatever it is. Okay, and then I gave you kind of an example here, example of student A and B in AP psychology. So intrinsic motivation is a student, they really just want that information. They find the course difficult, but they stick to it. These kinds of things after taking, a test, they feel satisfied with their performance, not because they got an A on it. And then they retain most of that information. Again, it's intrinsic, internal. And then extrinsic, here we have student B, they just want the boost to their GPA because of the, AP credit. Student B's parents also forced them into taking an AP class, right? They didn't really want to, but there's that external reward at the end. And then student B works hard to achieve the A, but it only matters for the GPA. They don't care. And then, next year at this time, they're going to forget all the AP Psych material. So just another little quick example on intrinsic versus extrinsic. Because I'm trying to get you into the mindset too that you're going to have to like explain things and write it too. Okay, some other basic topics with motivation, self-efficacy. And this is basically just understanding the areas in your own life where you're good and you know that you will do well in certain situations, right? So self-efficacy. So it's, that kind of just knowing that you're going to do well, and then your measurement, so then you put yourself out there in certain areas because you're going to do well in those areas. And then achievement motivation, that's like this individual's needs to meet goals, receive feedback, experience accomplishment, and that type of task you do at that level. So if you're like a high achiever, you're going to put yourself in like higher classes, and you have like higher expectations for yourself. Like it just depends on like that motivation level for you. Okay. And I put a little slide in here. So if you have this need for achievement, then you're going to drive to excel and you're going to achieve those standards and want to succeed more, right? Or if you have a need for power, then you're going to want to get things done and like control things and control others. And then if you have this need for affiliation, you might want like really good relationships and friendships, and that's how like that achievement motivation drives then your behavior. Okay. Okay, so then the motivation theories. So these are super important. So I want to make sure that you really understand these. Remember with motivation theories, that's, how it explains, why we do certain things, right? Where the emotional theories are like how our emotions react to certain situations and stimulus. Okay, so for motivation theories, drive reduction, that's a big one. That's where this physiological need, right? I'm hungry. It motivates you to satisfy that need. And so then it returns the body back to homeostasis. So that could be, your hunger drive, your thirst, your temperature, internal temperature, maybe you're cold, so you put a sweatshirt on, those physical needs. So it creates a tension, that drive, and then it motivates you to satisfy that need. That's the drive reduction. Very simple. It's all about homeostasis and getting that body back to kind of normal. Okay. Then we have this arousal, which is also called the optimum arousal theory. And that's where each of us has this base level, right? We're not bored. We're not stressed. We're just kind of like this happy medium. And mine's different than yours, right? So that's what that arousal theory kind of describes. So we have different arousal, like, optimum levels, right? And it's our body's way to try to find, the happy medium. Okay, so you might like to rock climb and bungee jump and those kinds of things, where I might like to more like chill and, read a book or watch Netflix or whatever it is. Like our arousal, like our base is different, each of us. Okay. And then the goal of this series is just to find that happy medium. Okay, so Yerkes-Dodson's law is under this arousal theory. So remember we did that demonstration in class where somebody had to like alphabetize index cards and then somebody had to like jump. So basically what Yerkes-Dodson's law is saying is that there's an optimal performance level, and that is best at the moderate arousal level. Not too much and not too little, but at that moderate arousal level. That's where your best performance is. Okay, so I put a couple little descriptions, like these little things in here for you to see. So this is drive reduction again. So, we have this unbalanced equilibrium. So I'm really, really thirsty because I just, ran 6 miles. So I need water, right? So that's gonna drive me to go get a drink. So a drive reducing behavior, and then my balance is restored. Okay, and this one shows you that Yerkes-Dodson. So the higher the performance in the task, the higher level of arousal here. You can see that where they're saying the optimum level is, for each, it's different. So an easy task versus a hard task. So you want that moderate level. Okay. A couple other theories. So evolutionary theory, that's basically just, you're motivated to spread your gene pool. Cognitive dissonance, we talked about this a couple different times. I think it's kind of where, but I put it in here because it does motivate our behavior. So it's basically, there's the difference between our action and our belief, right? And we are motivated to like reduce that. And you can either do that by changing your attitude about, whatever it is, or change your behavior. So I think we used an example in class. If I'm like super environmentally conscious, right? Like I really try to, do all I can for the environment, but then I'm driving this big old SUV that takes all the gas, right? That's cognitive dissonance a little bit, right? So I'd either have to like maybe start to drive a Prius, if I'm super, if I'm going to say I'm really super concerned about the environment. So something like that. Okay. And then there's Maslow's theory, that hierarchy of needs. So we've talked about this a lot of times as well. So you know that the lower needs, so the basic needs like food, shelter, water, all of those, you need to have those needs met before you can make your way up his hierarchy. Okay. Oh, good. And I showed you this. So you've seen this before. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But again, like it's the physiological needs, safety, love, belonging, esteem, and then self-actualized. And his basic premise of this is you can't kind of make your way up those levels until those basic needs are met. Okay. And then I just wanted to, make sure that you would go over hunger a little bit. Hunger is in the hypothalamus, so that's where the hunger drive lives. And don't forget to make sure you remember the lateral hypothalamus, that hunger center, versus the ventromedial hypothalamus. That's where we feel full, right? And if there's damage to those, what would that look like, right? So I put a little thing in here saying, remember L for lateral, right? Lateral, it says, hey, I'm hungry. You could also think of it like, I'm late to lunch, like I need to eat because I'm hungry, right? Where ventromedial is going to tell us that we're full. So if the ventromedial hypothalamus was damaged or lesioned, you wouldn't know you're full. So remember, that's where we got big fat rat from, for ventromedial, okay? So make sure you know the difference between those two. Other things with hunger, just remember there's like glucose levels, insulin in there. Stomach contractions tell the brain that we're hungry. I think that's good. Okay, perfect. Okay, now theories of emotion. Oh wait, to go back to hunger, don't forget they could test us on eating disorders, even though they're in the clinical psych unit. We did talk about them in here, so don't forget, maybe make sure that you go over like bulimia, which is eating lots of food and then purging, so throwing up or taking laxatives. And then anorexia is starving yourself. Okay, so just those are in this unit, so I want to make sure that you do go over those. Okay, theories of emotion. These are always confusing, so I put little slides in to hopefully get that clear. For some reason, I have a feeling this is going to be, one of these is going to be on it. I just mark my word. I really feel like these are going to be on it, one of them. So theories of emotion. Remember James Lang? That's when they say that the stimulus causes that physiological response and then the emotion happens, right? Remember LeBron James, we talked about that. Like he, almost hit us in the car. So it was that physiological response. My heart rate beat, we got scared, and then we got scared. So then it was the emotion, right? Physiological, then emotion. Canonbard says, no, that's not right. The stimulus causes both the reactions to happen at the same time. So the physiological and the emotional, they happen at the same time. Schachter Singer comes in and he says, no, that's not right. It's the physiological, then the cognitive label, and then the emotion. Okay? So here's kind of like if you had this, if you saw a bear, right? James Lang is saying it's the physical arousal, so that heart's beating, sweating, whatever is happening, and then the emotional response, right? Canonbard says, nope, that's the same thing, happens at the same time. There's no first heartbeat, then emotion. They're saying, nope, happens both at the same time. And then Schachter Singer is saying there's this physiological and this emotional label. I see a bear. And then the emotion happens. Okay. And it's just the way that they explain emotions. Doesn't mean one is right or the wrong. Okay. So I kind of did another here for you. So if you saw at the sight of an oncoming car, you're driving and you see a car, coming across the yellow line, right? Your heart starts racing. You have this arousal, right? And then you have the fear. So that's James Lang. So physical, then emotion. Canonbard again, sight of oncoming car. They're saying that both happen at the exact same time. So your heart pounds and you're scared all at the same time. And then Schachter Singer says, sight of the, oncoming car, that perception of the stimulus, the heart pounds, and then you say, I'm afraid, right? And then that fear labeled arousal happens. So it's just, how they explain emotion. Okay. And then there's a couple other ones. Lazarus, you'll see that from time to time. That sometimes is called the cognitive label. Theory of emotion. And that's, again, where you have the label first. I see a bear. Holy cow. And then physical and emotional come next. Ledoux, I'm not even sure we talked about him. I think he was in the book. But basically that one is basically saying that it's all biological. And we do this if you see a spider, you don't think first. It doesn't go through the prefrontal cortex at all. They're saying it just goes right to the amygdala. And it's that reaction to seeing a spider, right? When we jump back, that's the whole biological part of it. And then Ekman, he was the one that did those 6 universal emotions. It was like happy, sad, afraid. And that whether we're from the USA or wherever, the cultural influences that we all have these 6 universal emotions. Okay, and then last one, I think this is my last one, is stress. That they talk a little bit about stress in this unit as well. And it's really a lot more about Hans Selye and his general adaptation syndrome. There's those 3 phases. So I would definitely know this. Alarm is the first one, and that's where that your body just starts to freak out in response to stress, right? You get that fight or flight. Oh my gosh, here we are. So then, you're in that alarm stage, right? Then it moves into the resistance stage where your body starts to deal with the stress. It's like, okay, I can do this. And then, you're in that I'm fine, I can do this, I got this, right? And then exhaustion is your body can't take it anymore. You're sick, sometimes you burn out. That then is all in that exhaustion phase. I just thought it would be, I think we said this in class, ARERU, stressed. So that kind of can help you remember that one. And then I just showed this here. So, here's good health. We're in, we're homeostasis, our body's back, in that, that normal state, right? And then you get into the alarm stage, and then you get to the resistance, and then you go way down to the exhaustion stage. And that's that panic zone, breakdown, burnout stage. Okay. I think that was it. I did this in under 20 minutes, and I even talked to you in the beginning. I want you to have a great weekend. If you haven't, please do the demo on that demo site so you can see what it's going to look like to upload to the AP site so you can be all ready for your AP exam on the 19th. Don't forget it's the 19th at 2 p.m. You should be getting your ticket 2 days before, 48 hours before. You can still get the ticket though in your AP classroom. I just found out that's in there too. Other than that, I think I'm good. So next week, we're going to have videos on Unit 9 review, Unit 10, and Unit 11 review. And then I'm going to give you a couple FRQs to practice each day, but I'm not collecting anything. And then the next day from when I'm not assigning it, and then I'll give you like the answers so you can kind of practice a little bit on your own. Please, please, please be practicing, be reviewing, watching crash course videos, anything you can to get prepared for this. I really think you're ready though, so it's all good. Okay, enjoy the weekend. Take good care.